How are you feeling?
I just keep telling myself that no matter how many times I kind of replay it and they were better yesterday. That's kind of really what it comes down to. I looked at the numbers today, and watching the first half and kind of that's what drove me crazy, dude. I watched the first half and they just kept 11 of 18 they converted on third down, and that means a lot. Situational football and getting off the field on third down, and they even missed a few plays where they could have hit big ones, and they didn't. But that was it. I mean, just that, and then they were ready for the run game, and they stacked the box, and and then when it got to nut cutting time, it came down to their quarterback and our quarterback, and their quarterback's better, and that's it. It's I don't know, man. That they were better yesterday, and that's it. I still think we have the better team, which is kind of weird to say when the quarterback, is he's him and we have Jimmy, and I don't know. I think a lot of people now are more downplaying that Tart drop, but he makes that catch and it changes momentum. He gets a return there too. Like, he's crossing the 50 and we're getting in and we're up 3, but it does change momentum because the sequence before that, you remember it was fourth and short that we didn't go for it and called, we called the timeout, and then, yeah. That's a moment, and I understand people say 9 minutes left, and yeah, you're right. And then we had possessions after that where we didn't get done, but that's a takeaway. That's disheartening for them after stopping us on that fourth down and getting good field position, and that's a big change in momentum. So I I'll never forget that drop. It was just you put that up there. I don't think it was as monumental as the Kyle Williams play or the but it was a big play because we have the ball probably around the 40 plus 40, and we probably get 3 points there, if anything. So, and then we probably chew up. Worst case scenario, 2.5 minutes. Best case scenario, we chew up 4+. And, they have to go down there and score 6 points, take the lead. It's a different game. I hate to – I don't want – this is a team loss, okay, Christopher? There's no fucking – I don't want to put it on Jimmy. I don't want to put it on Tart. But if he makes that play, the game changes drastically, in my opinion. But they were better. We didn't make the play, and they were better.
We had the opportunities just based on they gave us our chances. We got our breaks yesterday. What happened early on? It was the INT inside the 5, the Jimmy Ward interception. That's 3 points right there off the board. The drop pass by the white receiver that's not named Cooper Kupp. I don't know his fucking name, but that was a touchdown. That wasn't like oh man, he could have made that play. That was like a high speed, like an NFL wide receiver catches that 99 times out of 100, and he didn't catch it. That was 7 points right there. I think they got 3 on that drive. The fourth and a foot that they didn't convert, that gave us the ball back at the 45. The missed field goal that gave us the ball at the 45. You're not going to get more breaks than that in a conference title game, and we got them. And
I forgot about the fourth.
And we just couldn't do it, man. The miss, the first pass of the game where he overthrew Kittle. Kittle's he walks across the midfield if he catches that, and he probably gets into field goal range if he just puts it on him. Nobody wants to talk about that one because it was so early in the game. It doesn't feel as important, even though it was. But yeah, the Tart interception was just that was so unfortunate. That was that one that he gives us every game. Stafford's been doing it lately, and he's just got to hold on to the fucking ball, man. But yeah, I think it was 10 minutes left in the game when he dropped that one. But we weren't stopping him defensively, and yeah, it probably goes a little bit differently if he hangs onto the ball, but our offense wasn't doing anything to that point anyways, at least not in those last couple drives that we actually got a possession. But I think the one that hurts me most is when we got the ball, they scored the touchdown to follow up our touchdown. They kick off. I think that ball landed like probably inside the 2-yard line on the kickoff on the sideline, and Debo fielded it, and I almost wanted him to like let it bounce and see what happens, because it looked like it might have gone out of bounds, but you can't really risk it there.
I swear to God, I was like, why does he feel? I swear, if where he fielded it in the trajectory of the ball, and that was a game that was planned by them. Gay was putting it. If they gave it to him, that was practice during the week. They did a good job place kicking. That's something that not to sidetrack, but that's something that Buffalo was trying to do. And according to McDermott, when they asked him about, like, because people are like, why didn't you squib it to run off the clock? Like, no, it's an execution problem. We were trying to kick it in, have it in bounds, and have him return it, not squib it, because it's too fast of a squib, and we don't get down there to cover in time, and they can make a big play. But we're trying it, but he kicked it in the end zone. But Gay put it in this. Yeah, I thought it was going out of bounds. I was like, why is he fielding it? And then, and he was taking some shots too that they covered well. Yeah, but I forgot about that too.
But on that play, like, he gets it back out to the 14. If that goes a different way and we get the ball to the 25, the way we drove those first handful of plays, we got it all the way to like their 45, 44, because we converted a couple, and then on a first down, Elijah went for like 9.25. Remember, second down and like 2 feet. It's like, okay, we're driving. We're inside their 45. Like, here we go. And back-to-back plays where we couldn't move the ball forward. And that one hurt. And when we lost yardage on that second one with Elijah, and it was third and like a short 2, and he puts Trent Williams in motion again. And I don't know. I wanted us to go for it on that fourth down, though. The way they were moving the ball, like, I don't think it was going to make a big difference. Like, we punt it, we turn it over on downs. You're talking, 30 extra yards. But the way that they were driving at that point, like, I would have rather rolled the dice and try to keep the ball in our possession. But that was big. That was huge. That was big. The Tart drop was big. And then just Jimmy's inability between him and the offensive line, it reminded me so much of the Kansas City game, didn't it? Like, the last couple drives just went nowhere. It's just, we had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, and then we just got tired. I don't know what happened.
We were moving them up front really all game. I mean, I looked at numbers, but 20 attempts for 50 yards on the ground. They played well up front. They were ready. We just couldn't lean on the run. Even in the week 18 game, like, we didn't veer away from it, and we started kind of leaning on them towards the second half, and it started to kind of work, and then the open play action. We still needed to drive there late, but we never moved them off the ball, and we never really got the ground game going, and then in the back of your mind, I'm thinking, like, this is going to come down to just Jimmy probably needing to win it with his arm, and and with that pass rush and the way they were kind of just fucking us up at the line of scrimmage, it's unfortunate. I don't know, dude. It's unfortunate. They were better. They made more plays, and I just keep telling myself that, because with that, I just think that if we play him again, I don't know, dude. Beating a team 3 times is hard. Like, remember, we wanted the Bucs. I was with you when I asked you. Like, I would rather go to Tampa Bay than having to play the Rams again. But I don't know, man. It was there for us again. We just couldn't get it done.
We got kind of fortunate in those last 2 or 3 wins really, with the way the chips fell. And it was just, we needed to play better. We weren't going to keep getting away with not playing efficiently on both sides of the ball for 4 quarters, and it just caught up with us. We couldn't stop Cooper Kupp, man. We couldn't stop him. I looked it up. I went through today. I swear to God, I spent like a couple hours today just looking through things. On 3rd down, he caught 6 balls for 100 yards and 2 scores on 3rd down.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. You just couldn't stop him.
Yeah, they were doing some stuff too. Like because they would they move him all over the place, and they would stack release him so that he would be behind Beckham, and they would kind of so we couldn't get hands on at the line of scrimmage, so he'd just be kind of stacked behind him, kind of like whatever the formation they were using, and they would release him out of that. They knew what they wanted to do with Cup, but the thing is, like, even with those, our front four was supposed to get there a little more often than I thought yesterday. I mean, I thought that we would kind of, and Stafford was making these throws from these tight pockets, man. Like they were like, he made some throws and he stayed in there, but like you didn't really see, our depth up front show up as much as it did the previous couple of weeks, and Givens and Key and DJ Jones and pushing the pocket, and I guess it just that extra half second, that 3/4 of a second, that just it allowed them to kind of do what they wanted to do, and those 3rd downs and that first touchdown they scored, it was like 3rd and 14, and it was just a good ball, a good throw, and a good catch. That was driving me fucking crazy, dude. Like, we just couldn't get out the field on 3rd down, and it reminded me a little bit of against Dallas, we had a hard time getting off on 3rd down, right? Weren't they converting a bunch, or no? Was that
that was Tennessee?
That was Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. They were just that. You just couple that with Jimmy, not being able to make a few throws in the first half, and not being able to get it done in the 4th, and then not just the opportunities that we got, but the extra opportunity that Stafford gave us with Tart. Yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, it just hurts. It sucks seeing you get so close, and we just can't finish that team with 10-point lead. And 10 points in the NFL. I mean, it's not a lot. It's 2 scores, but I don't know. I guess all in all, if you think about it, like if I told you like, oh, we're only gonna give it 20 points tomorrow, like you'd be like, oh, okay, well, I like our chances. All right, we can score three touchdowns. We can score. But I think the writing was on the wall since last week, because last week we, even though it was in the fucking blizzard and it was snowing, we didn't score off an offensive touchdown. Then I think we just kind of ran out of gas up front with our run game, and people know how to defend Jimmy when it comes to certain situations of the game, and we just ran out of steam offensively. It's unfortunate that we couldn't, kind of sustain drives in the first half. Yeah, man. Like your point, like they gave us every opportunity to win that game. That's what makes it hurt. That's what makes it sucks even more.
Yeah. It's been brutal. I don't know why I'm so depressed today. It hasn't been easy on me, Michael.
It sucks, dude. It sucks. Yeah, and that's it. It's different. It's different because I was telling you, like we do have. It's a good culture. We got the right guys in there. The locker room is the culture is something that I can't preach enough about, because it's a championship culture. By that I mean, like, you're expected as a fan, like, we're competing for championships, like, year in, year out. Like, if we make the Final Four, that's all as a fan you can ask for. Like, there's a reason why it's called the NFC Championship game. It's the Final Four. It's a hat and T-shirt game. You get to try to win be the best in your conference. That's what we want to get ourselves in that position every year, whether it's through a wild card, whether it's for the first round bye, whatever. But it's just, you get there, and you get there after starting 3-5, and you have all this shit going on, and and then winning the way we have the last few weeks against teams that we're very familiar with from a childhood perspective, and then going and then kind of just doing it stings a little bit. And then like a division rival who you beat twice, it's going to be a tough game. To get that close again, like it's just like I think it sucks. It hurt a lot, man. Yesterday that's why I just had like I had like fucking I don't know how many ounces in that mug. Like I just kept pouring it, man. I just kept pouring. I just sat there, and I just I didn't watch the ceremony or anything. Obviously, I turned it off. Yeah, just kind of rehashed that second half. Yeah, man, it's right, dude. It's just I keep getting a vibe. People's like, you should. It's a good season. Like, you kind of came out of the 3-5 slump and you made something of it. But it doesn't feel that way. It feels like we were in a team of destiny to me, like with that block on the punt and the score. Like we beat the MVP of the league at Green Bay in the snow, and we didn't score an offensive touchdown. I felt like that it's dude right there. And then we're playing a team. I don't know. It just felt like it. It felt like I just think we just ran out of steam, man.
Yeah, I think so.
She's very upset. Oh yeah. Yeah, and it's yeah. So I don't know. And I fucking hate and how my disdain for that team, dude, and watching them win that, that and then let's talk about the fight. How fitting Jimmy Garoppolo's the last thing, those 2 drives on that fucking delay a game, incompletion. Like we were like fucking all of a sudden like we were befuddled, like we just didn't know what we were doing. Like I don't know what the fuck, we couldn't get a snap off, barely. Like it was just that way. And then the fucking they're obviously like Donald and Floyd, and they're salivating, they're fucking coming after him, and you see Jimmy just like he's not even looking downfield. He's like, look at shit. You see him kind of like scratching right when he broke the pocket too, and he was like, oh, something bad's gonna happen. Like, and I told the wife, like, he hasn't thrown one yet, and of course in Jimmy fashion, like he's gonna throw one, and he could have thrown a few earlier in the game, and lo and behold, like he fucking like fall on his face, like he just throws it just to Jermichael Hayes, like it goes obviously like 10 feet over his head, and then he's just the backers are waiting for it, or the safety, whoever. And I kind of conceded there after that delay, or after that delay game. But I don't know, man. It was.
Yeah, we soiled ourselves. Yeah, on that rollout he had, I think it was the second to last drive. I can't remember, but when we had like 2nd and 15, and he had to like evade a sack, and he rolled out, and he didn't have anybody around him. Like if he has his eyes downfield and he's rolling out, and there's nobody real close to him. Like it's just an easy, roll out, find a target, throw the football. And as soon as he starts throwing out, like I told you, I said this last week. I say it every fucking time he does it. Every time he moves his feet, he does something really, really terrible, and he did it again. That should have been game right there. Ramsey should have picked that shit.
Yeah, that was the one where he threw back across his body, right?
No, I don't think. Well, maybe a little bit, yeah, slightly. But he was rolling right, and he kind of just. I don't know who was the target on that. I can't remember who he was thrown to, but he didn't see somebody coming. It was not a very well.
It's a that offense is so structured and so like rigid, and everything's based off timing. But you can tell, like with Garoppolo, like if it does break down, there's been a few times where he's made plays where he's just forced it in there, but it just even that Kittle one last week to Amos picked it. We're in the red zone. It's just like he saw Kittle, like the angle they showed on Fox was perfect. Like he sees Kittle, and and even as a TV viewer watch the replay, if you're kind of like, oh, there's Kittle, but like, and then he's like the arm strength and the release when he's on the run, it's just not, and he's not seeing it fast enough, and then fucking pro safeties, dude. They'll jump right in front of it and you didn't see it. So
yeah, the moment he had Kittle on that pass, his feet weren't set properly. So he either had to really try to zip it in there, or he had to wait an extra second and a half, 2 seconds, and get himself positioned again before he let it go. And it just, well, we're not going to have to worry about it anymore, unless fucking Trey Lance has been picking up bad habits. So hopefully not.
I'm putting you putting the call on a Tom. I'm calling Tom.
No.
Why is that? You can't. Why is that? Is that such a bad idea?
We don't have. I mean, you still have to pay him. Even in Tampa, he's not making big bucks in Tampa. He's still getting paid the same as Jimmy Garoppolo, though. He's still on like a $25 million contract.
You don't think he'd take a hometown discount to come back just a couple? You know, I don't. I know. I'm fucking. I know. But you know what got? You know why it got me excited? Because I know once he enters a building, it's only about one thing. It's about one thing, and he will elevate everyone around. It's about one thing. And Christopher, you know, I was like, we just want that one time. At this point, I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, and you know, like if it could be anybody back there. And I think the world of Trey, and I think Trey's going to be good for us for a very long time. And, you know, I have no choice but to think that because of how much we invested in him. But if Tom Brady enters the building, Chris, it's one goal in mind. That's it, and everyone around knows it. He instantly, everyone's perked up for that season, and to pair him with I know it probably wouldn't really work, and I know he's, you know, obviously he's old, but I still think he can get it done. I thought he can get it done, you know, this year, but whatever, man. It's just so many fucking close calls, and I was telling my dad, like, you know, my dad got to see some Super Bowls, and we got to, you know, I still remember where I was when I saw and you do too, when we beat the Chargers in 94, 95. But ever since then, dude, it's pain. It's not like it's not even when it's I'm not comparing myself to dysfunctional franchises, but it's very, Jesus, it's not it's a lot of it sucks, dude. Like if I paired going back to the 2011 season, compare our heartache to anybody else, you know. But you know, we weren't there for the glory years, and you know, we all we kind of known is this shit like this, dude. So it's unfortunate.
It's taking its toll. It's really taking its toll. I think, yeah, part of it is that, you know, the season was so tumultuous, so many ups and downs. All the other times we've gone to the postseason in our adult life and most of our teenage years, the last, you know, almost 20 years now, there's been no question in the regular season. Like, we start well, we're good through the early part of the season, the middle part of the season. Like, the only question going into December is, are we going to get a bye? Are we going to win the division? Because we're definitely playing in January. It's been like that every other year we've made the postseason. So I think because this one, you had so much regular season stress and ups and downs, and, you know, going on a 3-game skid, getting a bye week, going back home, and then getting beat by the Colts to go 0-4 at home to start the year, 2-4, and then get smacked by Colt McCoy. And it's okay, the season's over. And then, you know, and then we start to put together a little bit. We beat the Rams, and then Seattle gets the best of us again. And it's just like, where are we going? And to have so many like playoff games, like, you know, the Cincinnati game was basically a playoff game. The Atlanta game, and then once we win that one, it's like, okay, we're almost certainly going to the playoffs. And then to drop that Tennessee game that would have gotten us in basically right then and there, and say, shit, now we have to win out. Now we have to beat the Rams. Now we have to do all this math to see, you know, if we're going to the 7th seed, the 6th seed, we're going to be eliminated, and then and just everything from that. And then, like, the playoff opponents, like, you know, it couldn't just be like the Buccaneers or the Vikings. It had to be the Dallas Cowboys, and then the Green Bay Packers, and then the fucking LA Rams. It had to be those. I think the only thing that would be worse for me would be the Seahawks. But I think for you, Cowboys, Packers, Rams is as like stressful as it gets.
That's the holy trinity right there. That's it, dude. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't I just like I wouldn't have thought it worked out that way for us too, but it's I do you think that the Titans loss kind of in a weird way helped us? Not to where we were, but we've been in playoff mode for a while now. Like since I think that brought the best out of our guys, and they were able to play a little better down the stretch. If we would have locked it up that week, and we rest some guys or whatever the case might be. I think it kind of weird way got us to a point where we were just. That's what I was saying about the Cowboy week. They were coming off beating the Eagles, beating the shit out of them. They pulled their starters and we had to beat Houston, which people don't remember. We started a rookie quarterback, but Houston was just coming out beating the Chargers pretty good, and we had to win that game, and we had to beat the Rams. So I thought that's another reason why I thought it was just meant to be for us coming in, and the Packers had a week off, and they weren't battle tested yet. They we were kind of we snuck that one away from them, but yeah, those three teams, man. Yeah, that's it.
I think also for me going to into a preseason game this year, we went to that game at Atlanta, and then I was there for the Rams season finale, and just actually being there for some of these more stressful moments was also just tiring, man. Like at the end of the regular season, I was already tired. The Dallas game, and then that Green Bay game really took it out of me. It was that was a lot. That was a long season. I definitely felt the impact of the extra week. I know the players are the ones that have to go out and play, but for me, that extra week really took a toll. The fucking playoffs are long, dude. That's long. Holy shit. What a journey. Oh my God. We came close, man. We really did. Sucks.
When you broke down, I forgot about that fourth down play. Yeah. God, it was just lining up, and could you I hate to keep fucking coming back to it, but and at the time last night, I wasn't really even thinking about that play, but that dropped interception. I mean that led to 3 points for them tying it. That came after the sequence with the fourth down and stuff. God, I don't like that. We lose. I already okay, they were better that day, whatever. But I hate this. I hate to fucking be but fuck, dude. If Matt, he catches it, he takes it into at least the plus 40, and we're killing at least 4 minutes if we're putting a drive together. Yeah.
Yes.
We're at timeouts.
Yes, and the fact that we lost that fucking game when that team burnt their final timeout with 12 minutes to go in the game. It's gonna be hard to live down.
And we're gonna run our 4-minute offense, and I hate that. I hate doing that. I hate the and because that's lazy fandom. I think that's especially when it's a total. That's like to just put it on one. When this game it's the ultimate team game, and that's why it's the best game in the world. And I hate to do it, but if we make that play, I think it has to be a different outcome. It has to be because, and then of course, what happens right after that, Chris? What happens the next play right after that? What happens? Fucking he hits back for
30 yards,
and then add a 15 more because fucking Jimmy just couldn't tag him. While he's already down, he's got to leave with his head. And then you're just okay, well, okay, of course. I'm thinking of course that happens.
The other big one was, I think it was the next drive when they took the lead and they had third and 5 at our 38, and it's going to be tough. They might take the field goal and they probably miss it because Gay's not been very good in these playoffs. But maybe they go for it and maybe they don't convert. We get the ball back. 3rd and 5.
The cup play.
The slants Cooper Kupp in the slot, yeah. And Emmanuel, when I watched that live, as the ball came out and because I didn't quite see where the ball went, but I was pretty sure that was getting deflected, and that was an incomplete pass. Like I'm pretty sure that football grazed his fingertips. It was that fucking close. He was there, and he just barely got it through, and that one hurt too. But it's a clutch play from a good quarterback and a good receiver. But that one hurt because you put him on 4th and 5 at that part of the field. Like, you have all these little plays like that I'm gonna remember forever.
Just comes down to who makes the. It comes down to the players on the field at the end of the day. I mean, we and who can make the play. Yeah, that third day. Yeah, I fucking threw my TV remote, dude. It shattered into a million pieces because I was like, another. I just third down conversion, and yeah, I kind of figured that might be that they have complete control of the game after that, and they can kind of take the clock down to where it needs to be, even if we do hold them to 3 points, and they take the lead, and then we have to depend on man. Yeah, I don't know. I just keep coming back to that one play, and I honestly think it's too big of a play, even with the time remaining. I feel bad for him. I know, like it's a layup of a play, but I don't know. Just fuck, dude. Oh yeah, just on the day where our front four isn't having the best pass rush. How many delay games did they get away with too? That was annoying.
They were borderline, but yeah, they were pretty close. I don't know. I think the rule is they have to watch it hit 0 and then look at the football, so it's really like half a second longer. But oh well.
That sucks.
We had our chances.
We had our window, Ted.
If we had caught those extra breaks and we trade off the ones that we actually got, like it's a wash. We didn't get all of them, but if Tart holds on to the interception, and like what else happened? Okay, give back the personal foul penalties. I don't know. There's probably one or two other plays you give back. Like that's not how football is. You can't. You're not going to get 100% of the breaks in every single game. You just can't. That's why this is like there's no GOAT on this one, because I've done that in our other losses. It's usually Garoppolo, or there's like a defender who just sucked ass that day, like Ambry Thomas in his first couple of starts. But like this one, it's both sides of the ball. Defense played well for 3 full quarters and then got gassed a little bit. They still didn't do terrible. It was only 20 points. But yeah, I looked back at it, like it was 11 of 18 on third downs, including the kneel down to end the game. So it was really 11 for 17.
Right.
And one of those third downs, a 3rd and 2, didn't count because Ambry Thomas held. So if you count that one, which you should, because they got the first down, right? Like they went 12 of 18 in the actual game itself, 12 of 18 on third down.
Too much. It's too much, and it was too. And in the first half, that was driving me fucking crazy because it's just too much. It's the way we were kind of going this postseason. Like we get off the field on third down. We have, how many they ran, like I think 26, almost 30 more plays than us. Time of possession was in their favor, which it wasn't as lopsided as at the end of the game, but that's more of our recipe. And but fuck, that's just too much, and that's huge. And I think that's where then you kind of couple that with obviously Jimmy not being able to give us one drive there towards the end, but I think that had to be such a huge, because our defense was on the field a lot, dude. Mm-hmm. So that had to be there. All right, come here. All right, but I don't think. And then the missed opportunities, even though it was too much overcoming. I don't think that's just how many on third down we were like what 2 for 3 for 9 or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
Drives.
No. But they were winded at the end of the game because they couldn't get off the field on third down, not because the offense couldn't sustain. He had I think it was like a 122 QB rating going into the fourth quarter.
Who, Jim?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, that's not there anymore.
It's not 122 anymore because he didn't play well in the fourth quarter. I read somebody who combined his Jimmy Garoppolo in the fourth quarter of his last 2 playoff losses, and it's in both of them he's got the same stats. It's 2 for 8 for 4 yards and a pick, and the quarterback rating in both games is a 4. A 4. I don't want to blame him entirely. Line didn't hold up. He just played panicked. He played panicked at the end. I don't know what happened. How the fuck did that happen? We were in the same stadium a month ago, and we were down. You had a minute and 30 seconds and no timeouts to go 75 yards and score a touchdown, and you just do it.
I tell you, the difference was we didn't have what we've been leaning on all year, and in the run game, and they were outplaying us up front, and that's it. That's all. That's where the game, And then I'll die. I'll take that to my grave. The game is always going to be about blocking and tackling, and when you can't block them and they can block you, it's not really a good recipe for success. But that's kind of when you kind of wish you had that guy pulling the trigger that can, cover up some of those mistakes, kind of make a play out of some of those things. But you don't have that guy, and that's kind of what it kind of came down to, and that's it. Week 18, we were able to have success on the ground. He made a few key throws on third down because the play action in the run game was kind of there, and the defense had to respect that, and they didn't respect it. They didn't respect it yesterday. They were like, "Fuck this, man. We're gonna have our safeties shallow, and we're gonna stack the box, and we might show we're gonna change up the coverage to confuse your quarterback, and at times, and and we're gonna." They did. It was funny because I was watching the game, and I'm not gonna go back and rewatch the all 22, but because it hurts too much. But they were whenever we had any kind of motion pre-snap, they were I swear if I count on my hand, they blitzed an interior gap, they were bringing multiple guys in the interior gaps, and which made it hard for us to kind of run off our pre-snap motions and stuff. But even with all that, even with everything that we talked about, and even the fact that they're whipping us on key downs up front offensively, and they were blocking us on defensively up front and giving Stafford that extra half second, we were still up by 10. We're still up by 10 in the fourth quarter with all that.
I think we had good fortune for 3 full quarters, and our luck finally ran out.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we were the better football team for the first 3 quarters of that game. When it was 17-7, we were pretty fortunate to be up by 10 points at that point. The chips fell our way for 3 quarters. We just gassed. Man. I'm more concerned on the offensive side, though. On defense, you get off the fucking field on third down, man. It happened in the Tennessee game, and I looked back at it, Michael. I did. Hang on now.
Tell me.
I've got numbers. I can find them. Okay, so in this game yesterday, so I'm going to count that holding. So 12 of 18 on third down, really. Average distance to go was 5.7. I thought they ran the ball pretty well in the first half. We starting to stiffen up, but they actually went away from the run in the second half anyway. But they're actually running it better than I thought they were going to. But I was a little bit worried about Cam Akers coming into this game. He's definitely changed of pace. He's pretty explosive. That Tennessee game, Tennessee went 9 of 15 on third down.
Jesus Christ.
With an average distance to go of 10 yards.
Yes. Yeah, that was infuriating to watch.
They converted a 23-yard third down, a 15-yard third down, an 11-yard third down, a 10-yard third down, another 10-yard third down, another 10-yard third down, an 8-yard third down.
Yesterday.
Against Tennessee.
Yeah.
That one was fucking egregious. I mean, yesterday was bad, but you can't cover Cooper Kupp, and it just is what it is. But that day it was AJ Brown. Yeah, it wasn't quite as egregious yesterday, but it was a trend. You know what? Because we did it that game, we did it against Tennessee, and the other one that we did it against for a good stretch, if you recall, was Chicago. If you remember that game,
in the first half, right?
In the first half, they just kept converting. I think on one drive, they converted at one point early in the game.
Mm-hmm.
They converted 6 third downs in a row.
Yeah. You know what? Now that I go back and watch, yeah, that sounds about right, because they had that was a scoring drive. They ended up cashing in there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was like that. Who was it? Like that? Komet scored, or one of their tight ends, Burton or whatever. Yeah. That it's too much. It was too much. Too much. In that we get what, if say they get, what percentage is that yesterday?
66.
Yeah, we get three of those stops back, even 2, and we get, I don't know what, at the very least, at least 8 to 9 more plays. Or just, I don't know. It's I don't know. That it's just too much. It's too much when you're what you're leaning on this postseason is your defense and your run game, and your run game's not showing up. So your defense better be able to kind of, be your crutch for a while. And I think it was. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to just Jimmy not being able to make. It just, you want to talk? Is it still relevant to talk about? Because he's not coming back. Should we still talk about Jim Bob? Do we have to?
I just wish it had gone. I had no expectation coming into the postseason. The week after the day, I just wanted to beat Dallas just to be able to say we won a playoff game, because that's getting to the playoffs is the benchmark of success in the NFL. But winning a playoff game, 6, 7, 8 teams a year get to do that. So when we won that game, that was like a mini little Super Bowl. Going into Green Bay, 6-point underdogs. It's snowing. We're going against the MVP. They're rested. We're on a 6-day week for some reason.
Yeah.
I went into last weekend just, I'm just happy to be here. Like we had a good season. It was successful. It was very stressful, but we did some good things. We beat an old rival in the playoffs on the road. That was cool. Let's go to Green Bay. Let's see if we can make it 4-0 against Aaron Rodgers. And, whatever happens, we're proud of these guys. I still don't know how we won that game. I don't know how we did it.
To be honest with you, I felt more comfortable going into the Green Bay game than I did the Dallas game, for a variety of reasons. So I knew when we did beat Dallas, and I knew we would go to Green Bay, I felt I didn't, if obviously fucking not scoring off, if you want to score at least one touchdown offensively, but I felt better about that. Because I thought Dallas was better up front than Green Bay was, and I thought that they had the playmakers kind of hurt us, kind of like what the fuck the Rams did with Odell and Kupp. Like they got on the ball. I read a tweet. They combined OBJ and Cooper. I fucking hate Odell, but OBJ and Cooper Kupp, 25 targets, 20 catches, however many, a lot of yards, 2 touchdowns. And then the Cowboys have players. They got a guy that can do it, and Lamb and Cooper, and it was hard to. The numbers weren't close. I thought that the Cowboys had the talent to do that to us too. So yeah, I felt okay going in the Green Bay. It's like we can play against the Packers. I don't think that. I thought defensively they were a lot better, but then looking at it though from how these head coaches know each other, because LaFleur, no, obviously McVay and Shanahan, they're all tight together, but the success Green Bay had, I gotta go. I don't think I'll look at it, but if I go back and look at it, the success Green Bay had defensively against us, they played their best defensive game fucking I've ever seen against us, and obviously we still beat them, but I gotta believe the Rams took something from that. Something, who knows, whatever it is, but they played it. The Rams played well defensively, man, and the defense was championships, and their defense was better. If you really want to just boil it down to brass, like just nuts and bolts, they were better. I have to they took something from that game, because if you remember that, obviously we were, Jimmy's hurt and the weather, and like we couldn't fucking run it well against them either. Like we didn't. I mean that 3rd and 7 when Debo got us in field goal range, great, but I mean we had a few more runs than that we did again yesterday, but we couldn't fucking block them on a pass rush either. Like Zadarius Smith and fucking Marsh Gary and Kenny Clark and those guys, like they played well.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta believe they did something, but yeah, their defense played better, and that's kind of what won the game. Wait, pause it. Put her down and take a quick shit.
I got that. That's in the blooper reel.
I gotta take a shit, Chris. Real quick, hold on.
Okay.
Have you been drinking today?
I was sober yesterday too.
Oh.
Ooh.
It was it's nice.
Is that the first time you saw it?
Yeah. No. I was there when it was getting construction. But it's yeah, there's yeah, they're gonna make so much. I think they're gonna, yeah, it's nice. It's really in the location, and a lot of stuff they did around the area too, like going towards like on Flamingo and Tropicana, and then kind of they redid a lot of stuff. They did a good job. Yeah, that'll be fun, dude. We have to go. We have to make a weekend of that and go. And
I think they play there this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Next year, dude. Yes, that's our one away game, and then we'll just go to Levi's. We'll pick a game after that, and we'll go somewhere. But that's the one state I don't like. I want to go to SoFi. SoFi will be there. It's right down here. So, anyway, where do we leave off? I forgot.
Hang on, let me. I was gonna be set to this when you joined the call. So,
you know what?
I said I was gonna set my background to this when you joined the call, so I could like set the mood.
Oh, yeah.
You know just what kind of mood I've been in. I'm gonna fucking jump. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. It's long
so peaceful up here. We should never have moved. God damn it, Jed.
Oh, dude, speaking of that, did you see what he fucking said on a tweet?
I saw a tweet from him like an hour later. I don't what.
Best of luck to the Rams. Go make something about the NFC West. Like,
yeah.
Go represent the NFC West. Like, dude, how out of touch are you, guy? Like, really?
Yeah, I read that one.
Imagine if it was the Seahawks. Like, go. For you, like, go serve the NFC West proud.
Like, he's just a dude that sits in the fucking luxury box with his co-owner friend, just laughing about how much money they're fucking making, and he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he might care for like a couple months out of the year when it's time that when the season starts back up to sell tickets and stuff sell season tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it's yeah, man, just a game. Just despite all the things that went on, a game that we probably should have won. So, where to go from here?
We got to look at that free agent list, man. We got think we got quite a few. We got like 20 plus.
Mm-hmm. It's a big list.
I read it's something like Jimmy's off the books completely, and that's 25 million, and then there's another 5 million. So 30 apparently is the number that I've read.
Who's more of a priority, Debo or Bosa?
Well, what year are we in? 1920? We're only in year 3. It's like, I don't want to be an asshole, but like these are 4-year contracts, right?
Yeah.
Especially for Bosa. Bosa's on a 4 with the 5th-year option.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to play out that rookie deal, man. I'm sorry. We need the money. He's getting paid. It's not like he's making like bogus,
sure,
money as on a rookie contract. Dude's still getting probably close to 10 million a year.
But he wants generational wealth, sooner rather than later, guy. This is I don't know. I always kind of, you might agree with this. Look at how you structure a team, and obviously having ownership stay the fuck out of the way, and having a GM and a head coach who are simpatico and who are on the same page with everything, and having a quarterback, having a left tackle, and having an elite pass rusher to mold your team. Like that's the foundation of your team. Now your identity is your identity, and how you build your team after that. But we have the. I know he wasn't 100%. If I can shut him up with Toradol coming out of his ears yesterday, probably poor Trent Williams. But we have the league's best left tackle. We have an elite pass rusher in Bosa, which is why I think we should just get, whatever the market is right now. I think TJ Watt, I think the market line, it's a lot of money. So pay Bosa, and then we have a guy that we think is going to be the guy, and for our rookie contract on a rookie. So I think, would you agree with that? Like, as far as like, that's kind of like what you kind of want to build your team around, is a franchise quarterback and someone who could protect his blind side and have a guy who can get after the quarterback.
Yeah, it's just tough, man. Paying one defender is just so, it hurts. It hurts to have to do it, and we've already done it. We gave Fred Warner a $100 million contract. Like, how many more $1 million contracts can we afford? Like Kittle was the highest paid tight end in the league when we signed him. Trent Williams, highest paid left tackle. How many more highest paid positions can we keep on the roster? I mean, I guess you got to pay Bosa, but you can't. I'll tell you what you can't do. You can't take somebody number 2 overall, and then 3 years later, after playing at an All-Pro level, say like, this isn't going to work. We gotta move on.
Yeah,
so you're gonna have to pay him. But I don't think you can get rid of Deebo Samuel either. Like, you gotta think about. No. That's a $20 million contract right there. By the way, that's 20 a year.
Yeah, and going back to Bosa, like he's, I guess, so like he's such a fucking, he's so good. Like what he does. So whatever the number might be, and I think the sooner we get that done, the better. But yeah, you're right. Like, how many guys do we have to make the highest paid? I mean, I think Fred is for what he does and how he's able to do it, and that's a he's a one of a kind player. I think there's only like a handful of guys in the league that are inside backers. Off ball linebackers I still think undervalued. Like, I think that everyone wants to look at the edge guy, but he, like, watching that Green Bay game again, like, he was fucking plays where we could have gotten gashed in the run game, like Fred was there. Fred just I think Fred in pass coverage and as a leader and what he brings to the locker room, and I think you got to pay that guy whatever it is. And I forget the number, the number, but then Deebo is a guy too. Like, God, I don't know, like. I don't think we'd be where we are without that. What he did this year. Would you agree? Like, the on the ground and through the air and what he turned into, and the style of play that fits us perfectly as a team offensively. It's easy. But we'll see. I know they want to get done sooner rather than later. But yeah, I mean, he's a franchise guy. He's like a program guy. Like, you want to have those type of guys around. So we get that done. But I think Jimmy coming off the books is huge. I think the salary cap going up next year is going to be big with that TV deal and stuff. So we'll have a little bit more room to kind of, get those guys their money. But and then Parag will fucking, you'll structure a certain way where it helps both the team and the player to a certain extent. So yeah.
Having the rookie quarterback deal is going to be.
Well, that's the thing. It's huge. That's why we get someone in here on a home friendly deal. Someone like Tommy Bahama. He doesn't have his Tommy Bahama shirt on yet, Chris. He's ready to go.
No, if we bring him, then he's going to want to bring fucking Gronkowski, and I can't take it. If I have to watch one more goddamn insurance commercial or whatever the fuck it is he's doing on TV these days,
I thought the same thing. I wonder how if there was a way they could probably make that work, and watching him and Kittle kind of play together would be hilarious.
I don't want to see it. I just don't at all. In the middle of the game last night, like in the fourth quarter, like crunch time, and I got to watch Rob Gronkowski make a phone call for the 50th fucking time. I'm so sick of it. I hate it. I want him to retire.
I don't think what's the commercial that he's in with the insurance?
Oh, it's like banking. It's like a military banking thing.
USAA.
Yeah, something like that.
Like when you're what? I mean, for like us, civilians, like or me, like you're reminding people that, like, isn't that like a bad business model, like to have a commercial on remind you that you can't have this insurance? You know what I mean?
For military people.
I know. No, that's fine. I get it. But like, it's like, I mean, for the random, like the regular person like me, I was like, oh, I can't get this insurance. This is
why am I watching this? Yeah.
No, I don't like, but no, the rookie deal for the quarterback, yeah, and this is our window. But we just you think it's a lot of pressure we're putting on the guy?
I think he got just enough playing time, an entire year. He gets in early, like what was it, 5-6 weeks in, he gets to start. I'm more concerned about Kyle Shanahan knowing what to do with him. I think the prospect of Kyle looking at this kid and going, man, with this quarterback, I can run 30 times a game, every single game, win or lose. And the formula he puts together for that Arizona game is, and hopefully he learned from it, because it's a bad formula. One, because we lost, but two, because he got his quarterback hurt on his very first start in the league. I need him to play more like a, Kyler Murray-ish. Like, I'm not going to take hits. I'm going to slide when I need to. I'm not going to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see him taking contact, like, at all. Like, I want him to be a guy that gets developed into someone who extends plays by moving his feet while still throwing the football for the most part.
Yeah, I don't know if Kyle wants to throw it. I'm sorry. I don't know if Kyle wants to run it 30 times. I think he wants a guy that could put it anywhere on the field. Like, and you think back to, like, I think, like, because with, like, when he was calling the shots at Houston under Kubiak, because Kubiak was close to Mike, his dad, and that's like the whole, like, the coaching tree about this offense and how it kind of came about. With Mike running it in Denver and the outside zone and Elway on his last years with Terrell Davis and those teams, those really good teams, and then Kubiak, but then when Kyle was the OC at Houston, you saw him with Schaub. You saw him with Schaub and Andre Johnson, and they were pushing it downfield, and they had a little good thing going. And then you saw him in Washington with Robert Griffin, and before he got fucked his knee up, he adapted to Robert Griffin to where he was kind of doing the zone read and having more of a college offense, but he was still stretching it downfield with Robert Griffin. You saw him even in flashes with Manziel in Cleveland, because he was OC in Cleveland. Like that, you saw him flashes there too, and then you see it in Atlanta with Matt Ryan in year 2, and where he was pushing it downfield with Julio and running the ball and doing all that. He wants a guy that can make every throw. and see the game the way Kyle sees it. Like he's an extension of Kyle on the field. That's what he wants. Like Jimmy. I don't want to bring up Jimmy, but he wants someone that could kind of be, if you were playing that chess game, be two moves ahead of your opponent and setting up the defense for a certain concept at a certain time with a certain play. And that's kind of like, where he wants a guy that can make those throws, and and that's kind of where. But again, like with Jimmy, I don't know how he adapted to Jimmy. Like Jimmy had a quick release, and he was and he's able to put it in the middle of the field and not think twice about it. I don't know, but I think that's what I don't think he wants to necessarily run it. He still wants a balanced offense, and he wants to run the ball, but he also wants to take shots down the field and make those big splash plays. So hopefully we have. I'm excited about Trey.
Yeah, I think he's going to be okay. Like I said, I think he got just enough playing time. Like we toyed with him early on, figured out what not to do. And then, it was another 8 weeks before he saw the field again. And when he got back out there, he looked a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't look bad to begin with. So, and if you're taking the word of the coaching staff and other people, like they're saying that, the strides he made within the season from, when he showed up to November in that, 5-6 month span, there's considerable improvement. So you got to believe he's, the same system, got a lot of the same personnel. This year he gets the first team reps from the start. Like I think 2 full starts and, 50 pass attempts, like in 2 different games against 2 different defenses in 2 different parts of the year. It's good enough. Like we saw Patrick Mahomes start 1 game his rookie season, right? Or did he even start a game? I think he started 1 game.
He started that week 17 game.
Yeah. One start. Yeah. Just let him sit, let him learn. If you get him in a situation where he can learn from a pro, and he can be, groomed by the offensive minds of the team, assuming that they're the same next year, which they probably will be, he should be okay. I would have been more concerned if he had gotten no play time at all. But I think we kind of got our cake and were able to eat it too this season. Because if you would have told either of us that 6 months ago, like, okay, this was the plan all along, right? We're going to go with Garoppolo all season because we're paying him so we got to play him. And 2, we want to up his trade value and we can still succeed with this guy, behind center. Like we made it all the way to the conference championship, and Trey Lance got some development. If you're Jed York and if you're John Lynch and if you're Kyle Shanahan, you got good use out of your $25 million contract for Jimmy Garoppolo this year. He made it you were 1 shot away from the big game. So, I think it was enough for Trey this year. I think I'm excited for next year based on what I saw, especially in the Houston game. Just his ability to extend the play. And not on like design roll. Not on, broken plays, just the subtlety of being able to step up into the pocket, just the subtlety of being able to feel pressure crushing in around you and to stay poised just long enough to scoot up and out and then get right back into where my receiver's at. He showed a decent amount of that. Even in the Arizona game, he showed some of that. I think his pocket awareness is probably his biggest strength, at least from what I saw in those 2 games. Or at least are the biggest strength relative to the guy he's replacing, right? It's not necessarily that Jimmy Garoppolo is not good. It's that if our line doesn't hold up perfectly on every drop back, things get nasty real quick. So we have a guy that can solve that now. We just got to get him some reps and get him more comfortable with getting the ball out of his hand a little bit faster.
Yeah. And, everything around, and we know everything that everybody around Jimmy needed to be perfect in order for Jimmy to succeed. And everything, and I think Trey, with what he's shown, and you kind of hit it on the head with the intangibles as far as the awareness in the pocket and being able to kind of step up and let it rip. But yeah, I mean that's the future of the game, and to make it an 11 on 11, to have that guy being able to hurt you with his legs is huge, and that's the future of the game. And if you don't have a guy that can do that, and it's your offense is kind of limited in a lot of ways, because these defenses are so good and they're so talented and they're so athletic and they're so rangy, and these defensive minds that they get paid too, and they devote their lives to trying to stop these offenses, and they can, so you have to have a guy that can do both, and we've been waiting for that guy. I guess when you're younger, we still, Steve could still do it. Kaepernick came on the scene and he did it for a little while before, he got figured out, and, he couldn't keep up with the change in direction of the organization. And, but I don't know. I think you're right. I think we did see just enough. Well, we'll see.
Where do you rank Jimmy Garoppolo on the list of all-time 49er quarterbacks? That's the question. I thought of that one yesterday.
That's a good one. God. All right, just Jeff Garcia. Oh man. I don't think that's weird. Like they took it at I don't know why fucking now's the time to take to social media and put out some kind of that type of statement. But I don't. Was it? Did he make a actual, not to veer off course? I'm sorry, but we're talking about 49er quarterbacks of all time. Did he say? Do you recall that exact? Was it a direct sexist comment in there somewhere, or did you just say what does she know? She never played. That's an opinion he could have.
I read it. I don't remember what the original. I think the original comment was some woman that was shit talking Jimmy Garoppolo like the rest of the media does. But yeah, I read Jeff Garcia's thing once. I don't remember it word for word, but it was basically you haven't played the game, you don't know what it's like to play at this level, and that was basically what he's saying. But no, there's nothing. I don't think he made any direct reference to her being a woman. I think it was a direct reference to her not having played the game before. But maybe it was taken that way because even some of these other dickhead reporters, like these guys out here, they probably played high school football, or they probably played youth football at some point in their life. I don't know why they took it that way, but I don't know.
Yeah, they fucking twisted it up, poor guy. But whatever. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, I was going to ask you. Maybe you saw it. Maybe because I don't remember the exact thing, but what he said. But I don't remember there being any direction towards women or whatever. People gone soft, Chris. What happened in this country? Huh? What happened in this country?
He should know better. He's from the Bay Area, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he should know better than fucking shit talking women. I don't know how that shit up there. Are you kidding me? Jeff? You're fucking out, bud.
Jeff? All right. So, no, whatever. Everyone's so soft, man. Everyone's just everything just is like a fucking trial on social media. It's unfortunate. Okay, so where does Jimmy go? Okay, well, obviously the Mount Rushmore. I think, is there any argument for two? Or the top two are obviously those names that everyone knows. It's Joe and then Steve, and I don't know where. I don't know. That's it's very vague. I don't know. I don't know. What? can you go as far as Tittle and Brody too? I mean, do you go that far?
That's what I was gonna say, because I don't know. I think it's just so far before our time. It's hard.
So should we redo like our time? Like you want to rank them from there? Because then Montana wouldn't be on our time because we we're not that old.
That's true.
You want to do it that way?
Starting from Steve Young's career ending.
Okay, so Steve, Garcia,
Rattay, Dorsey, Pickett, Trent Dilfer.
Are we going in order? Are you?
No, I'm just fucking naming people off. Okay, so the big ones you got Jeff Garcia, and then you have Alex Smith, and then you have Colin Kaepernick.
Gotcha. So one for us, obviously Steve, Alex, Garcia, Jimmy, Kaepernick, Sean Hill.
You would put Colin Kaepernick fifth?
Yeah.
You put Alex Smith above Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah. Yeah, I because well, I mean that's debatable. I think
we're not talking about longevity. We're talking about like.
But again, this is my list. Listen. Why I put Alex because you gotta. I from how I look at it from a career perspective on how bad we fucked him up, like mentally, like just with those and him to just continue to just be the consummate pro. Now Collins obviously a better athlete and can do more with the ball and he took us he made a few more playoff runs after he left, but Alex and then finally having some stability with Jim coming at head coach and him kind of leading us to our first playoff victory in years, that for me was huge. And then just the amount of shit he overcame and just the and then even when we turned out when we probably would, if we go back in time into a time machine, we'd probably be like, dude, this Colin guy, like, sorry Alex, but like you're like, we're going Colin Kaepernick. Like, sorry Alex, but it's like even then, like him handling it the right way and kind of him just being, you wouldn't call, I'll always have a soft spot for that guy. And then him, obviously, like being going to Kansas City and kind of bringing that, not again, nothing to do with the Niners, but following him and then him with the injury and just but you can make it. I mean, I think Colin just he kind of became one-dimensional towards the end of his career, and that's kind of what got him. And I'm not going to go into any of the fucking all the shit he did with everything, but
in this climate you're not.
But that was whenever you lose your job to Blaine Gabbert, it's just unfortunate, but yeah, that I think that. So it went Young, Garcia coming in and kind of taking, and we kind of forget that and how the transition went from when Steve got the job from Joe and Steve playing as long as he did and then getting pretty much knocked out of his career, and then him, an undrafted guy, local product coming into the reins and kind of taking over a franchise who had talent but was crippled salary cap wise, and we were kind of fucking on one leg, and we were very we weren't. Like we were good, but we weren't that good, and we somehow were able to kind of make memories and win big games. And I still think if Garrison Hurst doesn't break his ankle against the Falcons, that game in the playoffs, I think we probably beat the Falcons. I when there were Terrell Owens and the memories they made, I always loved Garcia for that. But yeah, so Young, Jeff, Alex, Jimmy, Colin, and then after that, it's like a hodgepodge of fucking old white guys.
Yeah, all right. No, I think that post Steve Young, like, I mean, we can go back and look at like stats. We can look at, Pro Bowl nods and who was better overall as a quarterback. But just like all other quarterbacks, you're judged by where you take your team. And none of these guys have won a Super Bowl, but I think my short answer is that after Steve Young, I think number one is Colin Kaepernick. And I think it's because, like, even though it was like a half season he came in, our offense was better just like that. We went from the game managing, try to run the ball the best we can, try to kind of like we are now, like run the ball and then, put your quarterback in those third and shorts that we can try to convert, but we're going to win with defense and running the football. But we knew all throughout 2011 and into 2012, like, if it becomes a shootout, we know what our cap is. We know we have a ceiling. And when he came in, like, it changed. And even though it didn't last forever, his ability to run the ball, his ability to be poised under pressure, and the arm he had and some of the big throws he made. That playoff run in 2012, like the Packer game, like that was the record game where he ran for 181 yards, where he threw the pick six in his first postseason career attempt. And then he just ice in his veins. He just goes out there and he runs them over for the rest of the game. And then the comeback against Atlanta in the championship game on the road. And then the near comeback against Baltimore, like we came so damn close. But what really puts me over the top for Colin Kaepernick is that 2013 season, because even though the defense still played very well, the offense, you were starting to see it slow down a little bit throughout the season. We were starting to stall a little bit, and obviously a lot of that's on him. But in that postseason, when we beat Green Bay barely on the road, and then we went to Carolina and we beat them on the road. In both of those games, the offense was primarily carried by the fact that Colin Kaepernick was able to run the ball, and then he made a couple pretty solid throws, while extending the play. And then in that Seattle game, the only reason that game was competitive at all is because of Colin Kaepernick. Like that, if he's not able to extend and run the ball and make like a couple of clutch plays, he mostly grinded it out that day. But like, I haven't watched the game since then, but I remember thinking very distinctly, like, if Alex Smith was in the game, we still had him on the roster, we'd be shut out. We would have been shut out that day. Like we were doing nothing. We weren't throwing the ball on him. We were running the ball on him. Like, we had a small handful of chunk plays that got us on points, and they were on the back of Colin Kaepernick. So what he did in 2013 was really big for me. And obviously getting to the Super Bowl, getting to a championship game didn't work out long term, but like that's, 4 playoff wins in 2 seasons it's a big deal. And I just think comparing that to your Jeff Garcia, who played really, really well. Context, right? Like he's undrafted guy. He's a fucking 30-year-old balding. Who the fuck is this dude? He doesn't sound Mexican. Like, at that age, I was only like 12, so I didn't understand things at that point. So like Jeff Garcia, like I didn't know Mexicans threw footballs. And then, like, all right, that's cool, whatever. And then like I finally hear him like take the podium and talk. I was like, something's wrong here. But no, he played really well in a couple playoffs. I think we were one and done the first year he made in 2001. But in 2002, that candlestick game against the Giants, that'll always be a classic.
Yeah, that's that's mostly, and my list isn't my list, and and if we're going off talent, Colin would be a lot higher. I go more off like my childhood memories, and some of my best memories. One was Young making that throw to Owens for the catch two, beating the Packers, and the other was that because Mike Garcia was the guy, with that Giants game, and yeah, and I'll always remember that forever, uh, and then Alex with the divisional game against the Saints,
Mhm.
and the fact that we took him number one overall, and you don't really kind of, we knew when we were that age, we knew kind of like, we had a rough team and he's in a rough situation, but not until when we got older, where we're kind of like, God, we really just fucked him. We really just messed, didn't put him in opportune spots to succeed. And so, but I'm just going more off of just memories. And Colin had, you hit all of them. I don't know if you mentioned the Packer game in Lambeau where we won. I think he did, but that was a lot of what came down to that last kick, um, and he played well that game too. That was he had a lot of good memories with Colin. But where's Jimmy on your list?
So if Colin's first, I think it's a toss up between Garoppolo and Garcia for me. I think I'll need more time to really be 100% accurate with it. I'm feeling nostalgic right now. But, he made some good plays. We won a lot of games. I don't know. We need more time to like reflect on his contribution to the team's success.
I would love to make my case for Garcia. Right? Garcia, he would go back and kind of. I'm sure people uploaded the actual game. Like, he was a tough motherfucker, dude. That guy was fucking like, he was. Like, I think he was even quoted like he doesn't feel like what did he say? Like, I don't feel like I'm in the game until I get hit. Like, he was one of those guys. Like, he was like a quarter, reminded me a lot, in a weird way, reminded me a lot of Jim Harbaugh when he played. I watched Jim Harbaugh when he played with the Colts. And Jim was a fucking crazy guy. Like he almost seemed like, he would, like, he'd be on like he'd play reckless sometimes. And he almost times like where you fucking, Jesus Christ, dude, he might die on this play. But I don't think that's where I guess where Garcia gets my respect a lot too, because but he was still able to put such a great touch on the ball, and he would drive it in there when he had to. He'd run it. And I think from a team aspect, the guys that he played with too will always be, not to make it about that, but I always remember those just the mixture of the young guys with the veterans and Beasley and Owens and Hurst and Streets and the makeshift guys up front, Jeremy Newberry, the center, and
Ron Stone and Derek Deese.
Derek Deese, yeah. Oh, that guy. But it's good. I mean, Jimmy, people talk shit on Jimmy's, like, obviously his availability is a big question mark, and it's one of the big reasons why we had to move off him, because he's missed 25 games, in his career, most of them with us. That's almost what, a season and a half worth of games. But he is, with what he did with his shoulder this year and his thumb, he showed toughness. But Garcia was fucking, Garcia was a dude. He's a foxhole guy, I think. So, yeah. Jim, just because I don't know where I put Jimmy, man. But you're right, though, because before Jimbo got here, he was better. He was better than Hoyer. and Beathard. Like he was better. That's in hindsight, that's not saying much, but that's kind of, he was just enough to bring us a little bit of stability to run his offense, Kyle. And what was his most memorable throw? Was it what was Jim? Like I could bring up fucking a dozen of Jeff's throws. I can bring up a bunch of Alex had a couple throws where I'll always remember. Obviously, Steve has my favorite, but what was Jimmy's? Think about it. Like, what was? Now I'm thinking, what was Jimmy's like? I'm gonna think that throw by Jimmy was like nothing comes to mind. Does it for like the throw he made against? Yeah, no, no, nothing like would like. Nothing for like. Do you remember like a specific throw where you made? We're like, oh, dude, I'll remember that one. Like that was a fucking great throw. Maybe the one to Sanders against Arizona where like it hit him in stride where he didn't even have to look. Like it just. That wasn't even that wasn't for 6 points. I don't know. Nothing. What was Jim's best? No, honestly, I'm asking you. Think about it. What was his? I don't know. Okay, let's think back to the playoff games. He was shitting in the playoffs. Kyle took the ball out of his hands in the playoffs. Like against Minnesota, he threw that pick to Kendricks. He didn't touch it really the rest of the game. Green Bay, he didn't throw it more than 10 times. This year, Dallas, he didn't throw it a lot. Didn't throw it well. I mean, I guess that's why Jimmy's so low. I might fuck it. Did I have Colin above him? I had to have had Colin above him. Okay, I had Jimmy last. Yeah.
He had Colin last. He had Colin in 5th.
Okay. I beg your pardon, Your Honor. I want Colin moved up because I remember some Colin throws that were fucking to the point where like, dude, we found our guy. Like the throws in New England, the throws in against Carolina, the ones against even in the Super Bowl, like he made some throws against Baltimore. Not one that really kind of sticks out as like a memory, like a.
You're looking for iconic throws, not like
They don't have to be iconic. They just got to be like that play, that throw won us the game, or that, yeah. Garcia had a few. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm being too particular, but I think, yeah. I don't remember what was fucking. See, I don't want to talk about it anymore, Chris. These guys are irrelevant. No, what throw made it was like, I don't know. He was like just a system guy that needed to be in rhythm. Ball needed to be out on time, and it had to be schemed up right. Like it just, not a lot of people know. There's no. But I'll say, but no, to his defense, and why Kyle deserves more credit for Jimmy's success, because Kyle knows, okay, he knows that there's only a handful of guys on this planet that can do what they do at quarterback, right? You can name them. We know. One I just got off the phone with. He might be coming home. Okay. There's only a handful of those guys, and everyone's looking for one, right? But what Kyle understood was in doing and kind of getting this offense right was it's an offense that doesn't feature the quarterback. Because he knows that's why he had such a hard on for Kirk Cousins, prior. Remember that like he wanted to bring, and it's true. Like he wanted to have Kirk. And Kirk, where would you put Kirk in the league rankings? Probably like second tier, 15 to 17 kind of quarterback, kind of what Jimmy is. He's probably better than Jimmy. He has a better ball, but it doesn't feature the quarterback because Kyle knows that he more than likely, and he's not gonna that guy isn't gonna land in his lap, and he's not gonna have that guy. So, that's kind of like what I give him credit for, because these guys don't grow on trees. Like a guy that has the arm that can process the game the right way, fast enough, like Rodgers, like Aaron Rodgers is like at time, like maybe not these last, dude, yeah, he's like a fucking cyborg. Dude. He's like an AI fucking in his brain, the way he processes things that he can play. Like he gets the ball out, like he knows where to go with it at all times, and he knows the coverages, and he's a step ahead of the defense. He's like an AI in his brain. Like but like Brady and Mahomes is up there, and there's a guy. Mahomes is a talent, but he designed, like, it doesn't have to feature the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy was serviceable. Like Jimmy could do, he's and not to mention the intangibles, like where he's a great leader, and the guys love him. He's a good locker room guy, and he's all in, and he's gonna do whatever he has to do to help the team win. But other than that, like he's a hey man, she's not going to sleep. He's limited, like, and that's a big part on why we are where we are, and why we couldn't win that game yesterday. That's just the hard truth. It's hard playing quarterback in the NFL, dude. I couldn't really imagine like this. But anyway, like, I don't remember anything memorable from Jimmy. But what I will remember is that, like you mentioned, it was dire. He came in and he provided a spark and a sense of leadership in a position that needed it, and he brought a little stability, and he was able to make the on-schedule throws and the on-schedule passes, and some of them were on big downs and big games, and man, I tell you, he handed that ball off like no other. Let me tell you, he can hand off the motherfucker. But I thank him, Jimmy. I thank you for your service. Enjoy your millions of dollars. And no, but yeah, people might not like to admit it, but you were a big part of what we accomplished. So, hopefully he goes somewhere that has a system in place where he can be successful. And hopefully get good value in return for him. A lot of people hate that guy. I don't hate him. I just don't think he tore his ACL. He never developed. He didn't take that extra step. When he came on, I was all in, and like I bought in. I was all in on Jimmy. You did too. Like, he was decisive. He had a quick release. The pocket presence was there at the time. Like, he was able to kind of, feel the pressure backside, and he was able to see it front side, and he was able to kind of get it out to where it needed to get out. And he sustained drives, and he put, and then and then he hurt his ACL that year, and he tore it up, and then he came back, and you saw a little bit of the same, but then you kind of saw, like, if he wasn't on time, and if he was late, he'd put it in the wrong spot, and he'd throw it right to the opposite team, and it just got weird. Like, it just feels like, I like, what the fuck, dude? Like, is it more credit the defense for what he did, or is it just, but it was just him. It was just him just being able to not make the throw, and not being able to kind of get it to our guys consistently, and not being able to hit the big shot consistently, and ball placement was, again, not consistent. Like, he put it on a guy one play, and you'd fucking throw it behind him the next. And, and that's just, this is a production-oriented business, and that's just not going to cut it after a while.
Yeah, the blunders were excessive. Like too many overthrows. I mean, we talk about how much of a liability he becomes once he has to start moving his feet, but he just makes errant overthrows like consistently. That kid, I don't like to exaggerate, but like that was maybe a 20-yard pass, maybe that ball probably sailed maybe 20 something, somewhere between 20 and 25 yards in the air from the point of release to where the receiver was. A high school kid could make that throw. Like it was just, and he's done it so many times, and especially to poor George. Can't count the number of times George Kittle has his fucking legs chopped out from underneath him and injured. Every time George Kittle gets injured, it's a lower body injury because Jimmy Garoppolo overthrew him and he had to dive 10 feet into the air to catch it, and he gets chopped down. But it was just too often. Trey's going to be an upgrade, but he was a winner. He was a winner. 30, I think it was 35-16 as a starter.
Yeah. He's going back to the Garoppolo stuff. Like the amount of times I've yelled like "put it on him," like you just got to put it on him there, and I've lost count. The amount of times I've said like, dude, like it's just infuriating watching him play. It's like your asshole clenches every time he has to take a 3 to 5 step drop back, and it's like, or when they go empty formation, and I gotta, it's like, oh God, the ball's gonna come out quick because we're only protected in row 5, and but yeah, Trey's made of the right stuff. I think, this was a big year for him to kind of prepare like a professional should, and not just like on the field, but like off the field. Like, this is my routine in the morning. This is how much film I should watch. This is how I should prepare my body, what I shouldn't eat, and what I should do at practice. Like, just stuff like that. Like, fucking dog, dude. I don't know if you can hear that. Sorry. She's barking her ass off right now. Probably a coyote. Yeah. So it is a coyote. You can hear him. Anyway, you can't hear that, can you? My dog? Or can you?
Just hear the barking. How do you know it's a coyote?
Because you can hear off in the distance, like the howling. They've been stealing little dogs around here, dude. They're those fucking coyotes. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't know where you have Jimmy on your rankings. Are you really debating him and Jeff Garcia right now? You're making a case for Jim Bob?
Like I'm anti using like wins and rings to rank football players, but we're not talking about ranking quarterbacks. We're talking about ranking 49er quarterbacks. You know what I mean? It's different. The nostalgia piece is, I mean, yeah, it's there for Jeff too, but I appreciate the recent successes as well. And the guys, I don't know, I'll tell you what, like wherever we rank this guy, like Jimmy Garoppolo will be, as long as we live, the most like enigmatic quarterback, like the biggest mystery, the biggest like, that guy gives me a headache, but like, he was 70% win rate, 2 conference championships, 1 Super Bowl.
That's what we're selling them on. That's why these teams are going to be quarterback needy.